welcome back to Let's Play Mass Effect. We're on asteroid X-57 and we have switched off all three of those fusion torches, so there's no longer any artificial acceleration going on. We are merely free falling into a planet. And somehow the Batarians are still the bigger problem. Well, I guess so. I mean, those fusion torches could obviously be used to fix the orbit, right? So, probably should get to it. Anyway, I did have if you saw the previous episode, I deliberately stopped right here because I mentioned I have a problem with this fight, and that is I don't always get the enemies to spawn. And thanks to having a start point right here, I was able to practice a lot. And I think I've got a handle now on things. I think I've got it into a position now where I can probably reasonably be assured of getting all the enemies to spawn. It really has to do with how you fight this fight. I was doing it by simply going upstairs and fighting up there, and I think the game actually is designed, or at least this fight is designed to be fought kind of close, meaning you don't spend all of your time up there shooting across the room at the bad guys that hang out near the entrance. That seems to disrupt the spawning flow going on there. So yeah, we're gonna fight the enemies as basically as if we're trying to get out of this room, except for the very first part where I actually am going to fight some portions here upstairs, just because there's a lot of rushing enemies at the start. Anyway, yeah, let's get started.
Hold it right there. This doesn't have to end in bloodshed.
Wow, a Batarian willing to speak to us, and the super titles identify him as Charn. He actually was in one of the cutscenes we saw earlier, although it's kind of hard to tell at first, but yeah, he was there. So he's in cahoots with this Balak fellow. Let's see what he has to say.
Don't come any closer. We can do this the hard way, or we can end this peacefully.
We actually had two options there. What I chose to do was actually engage with him, but we could have pulled our gun and actually started shooting, and that would have started a fight. But the difference is you wouldn't get 9 renegade points. I kind of wanted 9 renegade points, and I also don't mind talking to him because, well, you'll see.
I've got nothing to say to a Batarian terrorist.
Look, I'm just doing my job here. Hijacking this rock wasn't my idea. I signed on to make a little profit. A quick slave grab, nothing more.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, this guy kind of typifies the typical Batarian. I mean, my guess is they were raised believing that they can have a nice comfy retirement if they get into this slave trade. So yeah, we have nothing more to say to this guy.
That's reason enough for me.
Damn it. Get him! No one leaves!
Alright, we are in combat, and we are headed upstairs because we can hear the Varen. We could actually see them too, the first two. Luckily the Varen only spawn 2 at a time. I want my squad mates over there, because this doorway right here is excellent funnel for Varen. And Charn comes up too usually. Luckily, Charn is susceptible to grenades too. How about some overload? Very nice. If I'm counting correctly, that's 3 Varen so far. Should be 3 more. Yep, I can see them both. Actually, that one that I thought was a Varen actually wasn't. Varen follow very specific paths. Caden's lost his shield, so the guys down there are using tech mines. There's a lot of tech mine usage here. think there's just one more. There he is. Alright, that should be all the enemies that will rush you up the stairs. Sometimes you'll get an extra trooper, or even the sniper will come up here. But it's pretty infrequent. Typically the enemies do seem to be in waves. The kind that rush you upstairs, the kind that wait for you right in this middle room, and then the kind that wait for you near the entrance. Alright, who wants to go first? How about you?
Move it! Before surrender!
How about some neural shock? I think that is an enemy sabotage right there. I think we're far enough away. One of the very kind things the game does is when enemies throw tech mines at you, you get a gap of time during which you can get away from it. What a little throw. How about some warp? Looks like his immunity was almost off recharge anyway. Might be able to safely come in here now. There's definitely somebody hiding right there. Is there someone coming around? I want to get him first. Some overload. Sabotage, damping, overload. He's dead. Coming out so I can lift you. Can I lift him right now? I can. Shock trooper. Very nice. If you're watching the radar, you can see they're still spawning as we kill them, which is great. The question is, are there any more that are going to come find us? No, because there comes a point where the only enemies left are those that hang out in that entrance hallway. Might be somebody right about there. Yep. He was a really great one to have come after us and be isolated because, yeah, sniper is really good at it. Sometimes if you throw tech mines over the wall, they will shake them up a little bit. Sometimes they take cover right in front here, where I can shoot them. Not too often, though. Because we're not close to anybody right there. Why, hello! Yeah, so the last part of this fight is the tough part where you really can't isolate them anymore, and when you peek around this corner they can hit you up with sabotage and overload and damping and neural shock. Or is it throw? I mean, it's hard to tell exactly, you just fall over basically. Whoa! Oh, but lift you. Does that put him over on our side? Yes, it does. Lovely. There's the really, really tough guy right there. Let's get him with some medium things here. Throw. Oh, and I see us. That was a damping. Damping will put all your powers on recharge. Oops, there's something else right there too. But yeah, it's really sweet that you can sneak, that you can actually get away from the tech mines. Whereas the enemies don't have that same.
I've lost shields.
That's fine. Overload's the one I worry about the least usually. Alright, that's just a trooper. That's the engineer, that's the one I want. Sweet. 17839, that's the one I wanted.
Area secured.
You have found a key card to the main installation on Lieutenant Charn's body. That updates the journal, of course. The 3 torches are disabled, but the leader of the Batarians is still holding several humans hostage. Head to the main facility. You have the pass key for the main facility. Head there and confront Balak. And that basically is the end of the mission. But yeah, I'm actually going to skip it. Remember we met Simon. He said he was the lead engineer. He had kids and grandkids that were in jeopardy. I wonder if the lead engineer would be willing to part with something. It's a thank you gift. Yeah, of course he is, and that item can be really, really strong. But at this lower level, it can also be not so great. So we're actually going to wait on that final mission. But I did say I wanted X57 to be the ticket out of Tier 1, and that happens at the crossover between level 18 and 19. So once you're in 19, you're in Tier 2. So all I have to do basically is find one more turret. Where do you want to bet there are going to be some turrets? Yeah, this way. Alright, and this is of course the main facility. You can see the entrance console right there, and it's green, which means we could walk right in there. That happens as soon as you fight Charn or talk him out of fighting, basically talk him into leaving, but you don't get any XP that way. Anyway, the unique thing here, of course we have the canister based turrets, but we also have some turrets that are on these tracks. They're actually hiding out in these buildings right now, so you couldn't actually hurt them from here. But once they're out, they're a little more vulnerable, but they can move. That makes them a little tougher to target and shoot and everything. And of course they can shoot at you with the same speed as any other turret here does. So let's first make sure we are back in armor piercing. And let's save. Plus, let's get our guns drawn. Shotgun, pistol. There we go. Alright, a little overload, a little warp. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if it's strictly the fact that we're at the main facility, but these turrets, they're really tough. As you can see, I mean, I don't even know why my Mako's dying, but I mean, yeah, it was hell-bent to destroy everything about us. But luckily, even though I can still hear the rockets smacking against the wall here, we're out of combat for the moment. And that's kind of why I wanted this guy taken out, because when we come back here, we'll be able to just park here and work on the turrets from behind this cover, which would be really nice. Alright, but we did also level up, so we are now out of Tier 1, Hooray. I'm going to take the extra cooldown improvements in hacking. I want Master Lift as soon as possible, and Master Immunity for Rex. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, Batarians really don't drop anything. Yeah, my Mako's completely destroyed. But as usual, it can still go places. And as long as we're moving, we are fine. Oops, let us not die because we damaged the Mako further. Also, this is kind of handy. I actually wasn't expecting to have the Mako damaged when we were going to leave here. But I think I'm going to be able to demonstrate something that I think is true. Though I haven't done this in a while. I think, like when you return to the ship, you get the sense that the Mako's coming with you, right? Because when you come back to a place, the Mako isn't there anymore, right? You re-land in the Mako. But, so if we were to move on from this place to another place in the Mako, we would see that the Mako appears to have been completely fixed for free for us, just by having it down there in the ship, completely repaired. Well, I don't think that's really the case. I think what happens is every time you land in a new spot, you actually get a new Mako. At least that's how the game's handling it. I didn't actually explain while I was here. Yeah, because I'm low on grenades. I need 6 to top off, so there happens to be a cache here. 1, 2, 3. There's 16 right there, which is pretty sweet. Anyway, yes, the elevator music we turned on is playing in there. So, I mean, so when we move on from here, we go to another spot, we'll end up in a Mako that's completely fine. But I think when we come back here, I think the Mako will be in this condition. We'll see. It'll be a while before we come back here, but I'm sure if when we land we're on fire, we'll remember that this is the condition we left it in. So anyway, we are as done as we can be done here. I mean, the only thing left to do here is to finish off the main facility. There's absolutely, and there's one other thing over here, which strictly is a means by which you find this place, in case you missed it, because it's so tucked up in the corner there. But yeah, we'll come back and deal with this later, mostly because Simon's free gift we want to be high level. And that's one nice thing, is that his gift is inside the building, which means it will, the quality of that gift will load with us when we enter the building. So just because we came here early doesn't mean we end up with a low level item inside there. So I'm sorry if you don't grasp what I'm saying there. I mean, if we had left a canister on the outside of X57 unopened and we came back, say 20 levels from now, that canister would still have tier 1 loot in it. That's what I'm trying to say. But inside that building, it'll have tier 2 or tier 3 loot, depending on how late it is we come back. Okay, so normally I would want to like head down and put guns that I found on my squad mates and stuff and deal with things. But notice, I'm pretty sure we didn't make any money from this, from what we just did here in X57. It's just, it's not a mission for credits. Maybe that main facility has some monetary reward, but the rest of the place, there's just, I mean, if you're lucky to find it in a crate, then you find it, but otherwise it's not worth it for that. But obviously there was a lot of XP there, and we picked up some Omni tools, so definitely worth it for that. But yeah, I'm going to skip doing any kind of inventory management for now. We're not in any danger of overflowing, so let's just move on. We're still in Exodus Cluster. And this description won't update till you actually finish the assignment. It'll still imply that the torches are on, even though they're off now. So I'm feeling somewhat comfortable with leaving for now, coming back later and finish it up. And as always, Daniel's looking for places close by, and he wants to go to Hades Gamma now. It's a single hop, and there's lots of work in there. There's 3 systems here. Antaeus, which if we looked at the journal is where the missing survey team is. This is where the Helena Blake's one of her crime lords is there. And Farinata is where the chairman of the Transhuman Studies Committee is being holed up as a hostage. So we're going to go see if we can find the survey team first. Alright, so the Antaeus system looks like 6 planets, so let's go through them real quick. A gecko. During the initial survey of the Antaeus system, only a single flyby probe was spared for the small, scorched world of a gecko. It revealed a planet unusually rich in heavier elements, given its size. A gecko is a standard terrestrial with a thin atmosphere of krypton and xenon. Its crust is mainly composed of magnesium with deposits of cobalt and other heavy metals. Due to the extremely rough, cratered terrain, starships are discouraged from landing. And of course it's bloody hot here. Next is Edmos. Edmos is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of methane in its atmosphere. If Trebin's terraforming is successful, it is expected that a helium-3 fuel refining facility for the system will be set up here. And we could survey this planet. And we found a gas deposit. While scanning the planet of Edmos, you detected a large concentration of hydrogen. It's a gas giant. It's a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. I mean, it's a planet full of hydrogen. Anyway, I think that's the first time we've surveyed something, so that will give us a new assignment. We'll check those out once we land. Next is Ploba. Ploba is the second and by far the larger of Antaeus' 2 gas giants. Active scans by survey ships have returned tantalizing indications of massive solid structures deep within the atmosphere, too regular in pattern to be anything natural. Some believe Ploba is a Jupiter brain, a planet-sized supercomputer. Adherents of this theory have fruitlessly beamed signals toward the sunken megastructures, hoping to get the machine's attention. Of course, there are also people that think the Earth is flat, and they probably still exist even in this century, so I wouldn't put too much credence into that. That's a lot of wires, right? Others believe that an ancient spacefaring race disposed of their weapons of war by dumping them into the planet. Their last attempt to reach this and salvage Ploba's deep anomalies went tragically wrong and ended with a crew of 12 being trapped and crushed in the gas giant's lower atmosphere. That is not the way I want to go, that's for sure. Matriarch's writings recovered. He recovered a strange object orbiting Ploba. Chief Engineer Adams and Tali tried unsuccessfully to determine its origin. They did find one of Matriarch Delanaga's writings stored within. So this is some Asari matriarch who left writings scattered across the whole galaxy here, and we're going to go find them because that is yet another collection assignment. Alright, Trebin is where we're actually going to go, so we'll pass that one up for now. Vimal is an enormous terrestrial world of mixed rock and ice with an atmosphere of methane and ethane. Its frozen surface is mainly composed of calcium with deposits of iron. Because of noxious surface gases, explorers are warned to use extreme caution. Luckily, we're not going to explore there. It's pretty cold anyway. Rare element surveys. Scans from orbit have detected a large deposit of uranium. So these element-based collections are all in one assignment, so basically we've picked up 2 assignments so far. And the last planet here is Hunidor. Hunidor is a moderately sized ice world with an extremely thin atmosphere composed of krypton and xenon. Its frozen surface is unusually smooth, suggesting a widespread repaving by cryovolcanic processes, though no such activity is currently evident. This harkens back a little bit to Venus, which is also proposed to do resurfacing events through volcanic activity, although in that case it's hot, not cold. Alright, and that leaves just Trebin. Let's check that out now. Trebin is a moderate terrestrial world with an atmosphere composed of nitrogen and argon. Its surface is mainly composed of nickel with deposits of silver. Trebin's environment is relatively mild, but the scarcity of water or similar enabling substances has prevented the development of any biosphere. Exogeny Corp recently performed a test impact of a single water-ice comet into the surface, the first step of a long-term plan to thicken the atmosphere and introduce water to the environment. A survey team is on the surface monitoring the geological and meteorological effects of the test impact. Most of the water released is still in the form of atmospheric vapor, but thick cloud banks have formed, and there is every indication that this arid world will soon see its first rain. The survey team's progress has been hampered by frequent mechanical or computer failures in their GPS satellites. Okay. Interesting. So, I think this is the first mention of Exogeny, so a company that we'll see more of throughout the playthrough here. It's a little colder than Earth, but certainly not bad. So let's head off there. Now, the survey team is organic, of course, but there's no reason at this point to believe that they're hostile. But still, I mean, you can never go wrong with biotics, right? Unless you're dealing with strictly biotic-proof enemies, which there aren't very many of, so let's stay with this team for now. Of course, if you played the game before, you know exactly what's down here, and you know why you really want a lot of biotic strength. Okay, and we've made yet another landing, although this time this is a side quest instead of a DLC. Let's peek at that journal, because we do have some new things here. Yeah, so 2 new assignments, UNC Asari writings. These writings belong to Matriarch Dilanaga. It looks like there are many other writings to be found scattered throughout the galaxy. So you need to pick up 10 in order to complete the assignment, and I think there are 16. I don't remember the absolute totals that you can find here. Obviously we want to keep searching until we find them. And yeah, so this is a collection quest for minerals, light, heavy, rare, and gases. To maintain its fleets and continue to expand, the Alliance must find new resources wherever it can. You've recently surveyed an important deposit and claimed it for the Alliance. There must be more like them in the Traverse. And if I remember right, there are 36 light metals, 36 heavy metals, 34 rare earths, and 10 gases. I really should look these up before I make my announcements, but somewhere in the neighborhood. So there's a lot of items here to be picked up, and every time you find a new item in a collection quest, you get money and experience. And let's take a peek at that. Yeah, so I went from 7,400 credits to 12,000, so like a 5,000 credit bump there. Yeah, it's gonna be handy. All the goods we're gonna be collecting here. So anyway, yeah, that pretty much does it for this episode. I want to put the remainder of the Trebin work here into the next, so let's drop our save. Alright, and we'll pick up the story from right here next time.